Welcome back to Comic Universe, the only nerd-centric thing you need in your life. DPZ rolling it solo once again. And before I get into the meat of this video, I want to tell you guys real quick, thank you from the bottom of mine, C-Dubs, and Jay's hearts for helping us get to now a little over 700 subscribers. This is a big step for us. This is, we're close to our, we're getting closer to our 1K goal every step of the way. And it's all possible thanks to viewers like you. That's the most PBS shit I've ever said in my life. But it's honest to God true, we wouldn't be here without, helping with, the help from you guys, and, we want to continue to grow and, make better content as a channel as we go forward. And we can't do that without your help. So as always, like, share, and subscribe this video. So having said that, let's get in. So once again, thank you so much, and let's dive into the meat of this video. Now, as we all know, The Predator is about roughly 2 weeks from appearing in the big screen, and this will be the 4th solo Predator film. I know what you're going to say. What about the AVP films? What about the AVP films? And I've seen a couple comments here and there throughout, social media of people saying, well, I'm a comic reader, but I don't know where to go in terms of Dark Horse comics. Where should I go in terms of Predator comics to read really good Predator comics? Well, your old pal DPZ is a giant advocate for Alien, Predator, Dark Horse comics. So, yeah, let's talk about... this is going to be my first ever recommendation video. Yeah, this is the first time ever I've done a recommendation video for anything. So let's see how well this goes. So if you're looking for stuff to check out with Predator, you've come to the right place. Or hopefully the right place. There could be better. I don't know. Anyway, so let's get started. So, first and foremost, in terms of Dark Horse Predator comics, the first and foremost one that comes to mind for reading material is, of course, Concrete Jungle. That was the first Predator comic that Dark Horse did, and was a sequel, the unofficial sequel, I should say, for the first Predator movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger. In fact, in the comic, it focuses on Dutch Schaefer's brother, who's this hard detective in the Bronx. And it was actually, this comic was some of the basis for Predator 2. Since they couldn't use Schaefer as a, Dutch Schaefer, they decided to make an OC brother for him and set it in New York. I think, yeah, it was New York. And, yeah, Predator comes in. If you read this comic, you can clearly see a lot of the inspiration for where Predator 2 got its, inspiration from. So there you go. Concrete Jungle, first and foremost. Moving right along to, Predator Kindred. Now, Predator Kindred is a little out there. It's a little oddball of a Predator comic, but I kind of like it of how odd it is. In that, in here, the Predator, it's set in a small town in Oregon. Get the Gravity Falls theme out of your head. I'm not going there. In this story, a man who at a young age saw his his father get brutally murdered by a predator, and has grown up psychologically damaged. He's now a father himself, but he still feels like the nightmares of the Predator around. While this is going on, a small-town sheriff is hunting for a serial killer, and who is a cultist in a way, who has found himself worshipping the Predator after it comes down and murders all of his followers. So, yeah, you got serial killers, you got, small town, and you've got the Predator. What more do you need? It's a really out there story, even for Predator standards, but I kind of recommend it because of how different it is of a Predator story. But it still feels like a Predator comic, if it doesn't feel like your typical, badasses going out into the jungle and all that. No, if anything, it's like if you did Fargo, the movie Fargo, but had a Predator in it. That's the best way I could describe that whole thing. Yeah, that's the best way I could describe it. It's just so out there, but it still feels like a Predator comic, if that makes any sense. Moving right along to Predator Bad Blood. Predator Bad Blood centers around another small town in which a predator comes down and begins a hunt. But this predator is a lot different in that this predator is psychotic. You see, in predator culture, there are ones called Bad Bloods, and Bad Bloods are usually dishonored or psychotic predators. And these predators, or Yautja, as their species is known, I should have mentioned that. God, aren't I a professional? Anyway, so this Bad Blood is psychotic and is killing fucking everything. It is murdering shit left and right. And yeah, another predator is coming down to kill it, or to kill it because it's making too much of a noise. Meanwhile, the town is set up in has a special forces team going into where the forest is and look for the predator themselves to try and kill it. So it becomes this big mishmash of just a straight-out slaughterhouse. No, really, this comic is really bloody. Like, the first 10 pages of this comic, there's so much blood, like, you have to check to make sure you're not, like, it's not leaking on your hand. Like, there's that much blood. So, following that, another recommendation I would have is Predator Bloody Sands of Time. Bloody Sands of Time is a two-part comic that essentially is a Predator story set in World War I. And it follows this this young French soldier who is, during the waning years of World War I, which is total hell, by the way, is seeing these predators coming onto the battlefield and killing both French and German soldiers. This is a comic that feels like straight out of Tales from the Crypt. This is also a very mature comic, same with Bad Blood and every other comic I'm talking about here. Yeah, these are not for kids, people. These comics are totally not for kids, and Bloody Sands of Time is probably the biggest advocate of that, because Jesus Christ. Sorry, I had to get something to drink. So there you go. Predator Bloody Sands of Time is another recommendation. For a one-shot, real quick, is Predator 1817. Or 1718, excuse me. Predator 1718. This is the comic that is actually a pseudo-prequel to Predator 2. If you guys remember in Predator 2, Danny Glover's character was given a pistol from 1718 by an elder Predator. Well, this is the story of how that Predator got that pistol. It's a very engaging story. It's a cool little one and done, and it's Predator versus pirates. What more could you want? No, really, what more could you want? Oh, you want to read more comics? Okay, I got a lot. So, following that is so let's actually talk about real quick. I wasn't going to initially do crossover comics, but there are some really good Predator crossovers. So, keeping with Dark Horse real quick, I would recommend the AVP, the original Alien vs. Predator comic. If you really hated AVP 1 and 2, this comic washes that taste out of your mouth and makes you go, oh, so Alien and Predator, it can be a really cool concept and really can work. Okay. That's the major thing. And if you want to read more AVP comics, go check out AVP Eternal. It's another neat little comic that is set in China, where this man, who is actually immortal after eating a predator's heart, has found xenomorphs and they've escaped underground. Meanwhile, a group of predators have shown up in China to go out and hunt these rogue xenomorphs and kill this immortal guy. AVP Eternal, another kind of out there but still feels like an Alien Predator comic. And finally, in terms of AVP comics, look no further than AVP Fire and Stone, which is a giant storyline that ties together Alien, Predator, and Prometheus all together. It's a nice little coherent storyline, and again, if you hated Alien Covenant, and Prometheus, if you hated those movies, this comic makes you go, oh, that's what they were trying to do. This is a cool concept. And everyone's a smart character. Holy fucking shit. Also, the piece de resistance, you get a fight between a predator and an engineer. Yeah. That's the big one of the major selling points of this comic, is a predator going one-on-one with an engineer. Yeah. I highly recommend that. Just on that basis alone. Moving right along to Predator, if you want to check out some Predator crossover comics, look no further than Batman vs. Predator. That's probably one of the best crossovers ever. It's so simple, but works on so many levels. The Predator shows up in Gotham, it's killing gangsters left and right, and Batman goes in to stop them. It's really cool. It's really cool. Yeah. So that's all I have to say about that. Also, if you want to look for a fun crossover, look no further than Archie vs. Predator. From that name alone, from the title alone, Archie vs. Predator, you're already in for some insane shit, and that's exactly what you get. Insane, balls-to-the-wall shit that doesn't stop for a second. Like, yeah. If you want to look for some crazy wild times, look no further than Archie vs. Predator. So there you go, guys. Those are just a handful of my recommendations for Predator comics. There are a few other ones out there that are really good, but those are the ones that really come to mind, and those are ones I personally really enjoy and think you guys will enjoy too. So yeah, I hope this helps you if you're wanting to check out some more Predator comics in anticipation for The Predator. Look no further than these comics. Also, real quick before I go, I just remembered another one. Predator Prey to the Heavens. This is a comic where two tribes of predators are fighting in West Africa, and a mercenary team is caught in the middle of it. It's a neat little story that involves a predator civil war on our planet. That it's pretty cool. So there you go. There's another one for you. So there you go, guys. Once again, I know I probably missed out on a few, but these are some good ones to start out with. So once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and see you once more in the universe.